him again, and he challenged them, you judge according to the flesh. So the flesh is usually the code name for circumcision in Paul. Paul uses that language to say, I don't need to boast in the flesh, that is to boast of my circumcision. I boast in the spirit, and so on and so forth. And let's see. I'm just trying to build up to these things with the things that we might have missed here. The Jews say to Jesus again as if they're an alien people, line 33, we are Abraham's seed, and we have not been under bondage to anyone. How can you say you shall become free? The idea of being free, of course, is again Paul's presentation in numerous places, particularly in Galatians, where the new Christians are the son of the free woman and the Jews are the son of the slave woman. So much of this is either retrospectively reflected backward, or Paul picks it up and moves it forward. You have to decide which comes first. I, of course, am on the former thing, that it's retrospectively reflected backward for people who know the letters of Paul and other materials of that kind. You'll have to decide that for yourself. So the point is that freedom in Paul is freedom from the law. Freedom from, the Jews are the children of Hagar in Galatians 4. And Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia. Paul makes the allegory perfectly clear. He says such things are allegory. You can look at Galatians 4 in talking about such things being allegory. He makes it clear that he knows or is using Philo of Alexandria's method. You say, who's Philo of Alexandria? I can't cover everything in this class. Philo of Alexandria is a famous quasi-Jewish Neoplatonic philosopher of the principal family in Alexandria. He lived from around maybe the time of the birth of Jesus, something at that time, to the maybe somewhat earlier, maybe 20 BC. Anyway, he was alive in the period of Caligula, because he wrote a book called The Mission to Gaius, among about 40 other allegorical works, taking Old Testament materials allegorically. Just the way Paul takes them allegorically here, Philo takes them allegorically. But Philo is older than Paul. So Paul, an educated person, would know Philo if he had been sophisticated and educated, because Philo was someone who was highly prized in antiquity. Now, he was the principal family of Alexandria. His brother was the Alabarch of Alexandria. In Roman texts, Latin texts, no one knows what Alabarch means, and some Latin texts outside of Josephus uses Alabarch, but call it Arabarch. That is the leader of what the Romans called Arabs. And I'm not sure that that isn't the correct original usage, Arabarch. These people all being Arabs or Easterners. So it's not, but he's a Jewish Alabarch or Arabarch, his brother. And of course the nephew who appears in Acts in about chapter 2 or 3, who is called Alexander in Acts and harasses the early Christian community. I don't have time to pick it out for you. He's Tiberius Alexander. That's the son of Philo's brother. This is a very aristocratic Alexandrian family. Why are they so important? Because they're the richest family in the Middle East. And how did they get rich? Through the India trade. The India trade dominated the Red Sea and went off to India. If you go to India today, of course everyone wants things from India then and now, spices from the Malabar coast, silks and spices, but silks more from China, spices from India. Ginger, basically. Anyone been to Cochin in India? I've been there. And there's an old synagogue there, and they have the legends of the founding around the Maccabean period. They claim that they were founded from refugees. They have a picture on the wall of refugees landing on the Malabar coast. And of course, that is the same area, right next door, where the Christian community of what is founded? Thomas. Didymus Thomas, Judas Thomas, Didymus Judas Thomas, twin Thomas, twin. Numerous references to Thomas, whose real name is Judas, and who probably was another brother, in quotes, of Jesus. I cover that in great detail in my James, the Brother of Jesus book. In the third part of that book, the latter part of that book, there are several chapters dedicated to who all the other brothers were and so on. I don't really have time to go into that with you now, but I'll just point you in that direction if you want to find out things. But the churches in India, the legends about Thomas was that not only did he evangelize the Mesopotamians, which is probably what he really did, and northern Iraq and Syria, which probably has to do with this place I'm telling you about called Adiabene, and probably has to do with the image in Acts, if you remember when Paul gets his vision in Acts. I guess it's something about why persecutest thou me on the road to Damascus. He goes to stay at the house of one, as I recall, Judas. He's called a tanner on a street called the Straight in Damascus. That probably is this Judas character that we're talking about. Forget the tanner. Here we're going to have Judas called the leper, or Simon the leper, and Simon the Canaanite, and Simon the this, and Simon the that. All those appositions, cognomens have to be evaluated separately, because they may contain some Greek formulation that is beyond our comprehension, that can be a play on words, like you say, Joe Schmo. So again, you really have to be an expert in the original language of the period to pull all of that sort of thing down. So in any case, the churches, probably northern Mesopotamia, but somehow the Acts of Thomas, which are preserved in Syriac and other languages of that kind further east, take him like Mani all the way to India. Mani is a teacher, a Jamesian teacher of the 2nd and 3rd century, from whom Muhammad rips off 3/4 of his material. And how did Muhammad get in touch with Mani? Because Muhammad went on the caravan trade up into southern